Have you ever gotten to the end of the week and wondered, where did it all go? Or even looked back at the past 5 years and thought, how did I wind up here? I don't think most people intentionally create a life that they feel disconnected from. I think they slowly drift into it. Not because they don't care, but because somewhere along the way, they stopped participating in their life consciously. We spend so much time in life reacting to email, to responsibilities, responding to what other people need, to different opportunities that show up. But what if life isn't something that we're just supposed to respond to? What if we're creating it every single day, whether we realize it or not? And the biggest difference between a life that feels meaningful and a life that feels empty isn't luck. It's consciousness. It's choosing to actually be there and present in the life that you are trying to create. Welcome to the Inner Launch, where we talk about the small shifts that you make on the inside have the power to transform the life that you're building on the outside. This is the podcast where we create your next chapter from the inside out. I'm your host, Christina Bolkovich. And today we're exploring the idea that changes so many of the ways that we see things in our lives. The idea that becoming conscious isn't just about becoming self-aware. It's about becoming aware of what you're actually creating. Because every interaction, every conversation, every habit, every reaction is creating something. And the question then becomes, are you creating it intentionally and consciously or accidentally? Most people think that they're creating a life consciously because they're making decisions. But making those decisions isn't the same as creating your life. Often we respond to so many different things, whether that is being in a routine that we're constantly doing the same thing. So we're constantly responding to the same thing. Maybe you're at work and you're just over there responding to emails. Maybe you're going to the grocery store and you're responding to the cashier. Whatever it is, you're there, maybe consciously or unconsciously, doing those things. And most of the time, it's unconsciously. It's almost like we don't choose our day. We just go along with it. Every interaction that we have throughout our day, that has the power to change so many things. So if you're in an interaction where, okay, maybe you are at work and you're not so happy and you just really want to brush through the day, get through it, not have to worry about anything. So you make the easy decision of, okay, I'm just going to send this email to this person because it's easier than me having to do it all by myself or whatever it may be. You're choosing that level of consciousness. You are choosing whether or not you want to participate or don't. And the same thing happens when it comes to different types of relationships. You have the power to choose if you want to actually build something intentionally or not. Every interaction that you have can create something. Conversations can either create trust or they can create distance. A habit can either create health or disease. Thoughts can create possibilities or limitations. A boundary can create respect. Silence can create assumptions. Avoidance can create confusion. Nothing is really ever neutral. There is always some cost to something and some level of conscious for each one. Conscious living is not about controlling everything. It's about actively participating and choosing what you create rather than just getting to the end of the day and saying what happened. And some of the ways to start choosing to live consciously is by asking yourself, what do I actually want in this life, for this relationship, from my job, whatever it may be? Ask yourself, what do I actually want? What is the goal here? And in doing that, that starts the way of living more consciously and creating that chapter that you actually want, instead of just living through the things and waking up and saying, what happened? You have the power to choose if you want to create joy, peace, momentum, trust, stress, connection, hope, confidence, because regardless, you're going to create something. People often think that transformation comes from this huge moment that you decided, this big decision. But what it really is yes, that does happen too. But what it really is taking those small decisions step by step and thinking about them intentionally. So if you're saying, I want to have enough money to travel, that's my example. Well, taking that step by step. So you want to have money to travel. How are you going to make that happen intentionally? Are you going to spend your time looking everything up? Are you going to make sure you're not going out and saving the money so that you have the money to go travel? All of these things need to be done intentionally if you want to get to a goal. And it doesn't have to be just travel. It can be any goal. Maybe it's building a relationship with someone. You have to be intentional and conscious of the things that you're saying and doing. And sometimes that may look like, okay, I want to create this type of relationship with this person, whether it's a boss, significant other, whatever it is. You have to actively think, how do I want to show up? How would I want them to show up for me? And then you have to show up like that. You have to be intentional about why you're doing it. You need to know your whys. So here are some questions to help you get a little bit more intentional about what you're creating. So you can ask yourself things like, what am I creating? Why am I creating it? Am I creating it because I want something that excites me when I wake up? Am I creating relationships that feel authentic and I want to be in? Or am I just choosing to participate? Am I creating opportunities for myself? Or am I just reacting to what's happening around me? Am I creating it or am I reacting? So much of life is spent reacting to all the things around us rather than consciously choosing what we put in and what we take out. Creating consciously means that you are actually being present and you are being aware of everything that's going on around you. So that means you're not just making the decisions and reacting and having those impulse thoughts. You are actually taking the time and thinking, how do I want to authentically show up for this? And that can look in so many different ways. That can look like, how do I want to show up to support my friend? How do I want to show up to support myself? Whatever it is, how do I want to show up and why? Because the why is very important too. Because generally that why that you're building is what's going to lead you to show up differently. Consciousness is not about becoming somebody new. It's about waking up enough to realize that you've had a hand in creating the life that you find yourself in now. If you were able to create this life that you're living now, then you're also able to create the life that you actually want to be living, intentionally and consciously. This isn't going to happen overnight. It needs to happen over time by choosing each thing very cautiously and intentionally. Because when you do that, that's the real power. That's how you start creating the life that you actually want, with the intention behind it. I could tell you I got to a point in life where I wasn't happy at my job. I didn't want to spend the next 10 years doing the same thing. And I had to make a choice. And that choice was, how did I want to live? And that's when I started creating things intentionally and consciously, because I knew I didn't want to live that same year after year after year after year. And I knew that I wanted more, but more often comes with different decisions, different priorities, and everything else in between. So for that, you have to start thinking differently. You have to start choosing more consciously. You have to choose within the alignments of the things that you want. Because without it, you're just a little bit unconscious in your life. You're just going through the motions on autopilot. And were we really ever meant to live that way? As a watcher of our lives, a passerby, or were we meant to participate in it? Because I believe that we were meant to participate in our lives. And participation means exactly that. Get participating. Choose wisely. And keep choosing yourself, even in the small ways. Because every small opportunity that you have can create something that is truly worth living for. This has been another episode of The Inner Launch. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, send this to a friend, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye!